Now we start with the Middle East. Israel, in a recent confrontation, Israeli soldiers reportedly shot at 3 Palestinians yesterday who they claim were throwing rocks at cars deployed in the West Bank region. Now the Palestinian Red Crescent has said that out of the 3 Palestinians involved in the incident, 1 was killed while another was wounded. According to the Israeli military, the 3rd Palestinian was arrested from the scene. This comes just a day after the Israeli soldiers killed a 17-year-old Palestinian teenager, which they alleged was moving towards them at an accelerated pace. This incident took place in the West Bank city of Hebron and also reported the killing of another 55-year-old bystander. These aggressive encounters by the IDF does not sit well with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's statements, which he made yesterday, while holding a joint press conference with the German Chancellor in Jerusalem. According to the Israeli Prime Minister, the first phase of the Gaza ceasefire agreement has been largely completed, and that he soon will begin talks in initiating its second phase as well. Netanyahu has also noted that he will be meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump later this month to discuss this further. He has particularly emphasized on the peaceful implementation of the successive phases of the Gaza plan. Meanwhile, Bassem Naim, a Hamas official from its decision-making political bureau, has stated that Hamas is open to negotiations regarding Hamas's disarmament and also on the matter of freezing or storing its arsenal of weapons as part of a ceasefire plan with Israel. But Naim has stressed that Hamas wants complete Palestinian guarantees when it comes to the two-state solution, and that Hamas must also retain the right to resist. Now for this discussion, we welcome Dr. Punsara Amarasinghe. He's a Middle East affairs expert, joins us live from Kotawala Defense University of Colombo. Thank you very much, Doctor and Professor, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, looking at this, what are we to make of these, continued violations of ceasefire and strikes? How do you think these are affecting the ongoing peace talks for implementing phase 2?
But of course, this incident should not be taken in isolation, because if you look at the situation in the Middle East, especially in West Bank and also in Gaza, the situation remains very much appalling, even after the ceasefire agreement came into effect. This year, there has been a surge of violence at unprecedented level. But as I told you, this violence have occurred as a result of the settlement policies initiated by Tel Aviv, in particular in West Bank. There has been a tremendous opposition coming from the Palestinian Authority towards this settlement. And of course, settlements are not new to Palestinian Authority or to West Bank. It has always been there since 1967. But this year, State of Israel has made certain settlements legalized by undermining the territory of Palestinians, so which is quite natural to see a spark of fear emanating from Palestinians. So that is why I told you that even though we have the ceasefire agreement, remaining peace or going for everlasting peace seems to be quite elusive. At the same time, we should not forget the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu's meeting with the German Chancellor quite recently, Netanyahu was adamant, stating that Israel would not go for a two-state solution, contrary to what his German counterpart proposed. According to German counterpart, the two-state solution seems to be the eventual remedy for the problem in the Middle East, wherein Israelis are not willing to compromise. They're not willing to accept the two-state solution based on the national security. From their side, they have their strategic stances, because Benjamin Netanyahu has been quite clear about the idea of two-state solution, suggesting that two-state solution is highly unlikely as long as Palestinians are determined to obliterate the state of Israel from the face of earth. Last year, while addressing the UN General Assembly, Netanyahu clearly emphasized the fact that Mohammed Abbas and his Palestinian regime have committed themselves to undermine the peace process and attack the state of Israel. So their concern seems to be very much reasonable from a strategic point of view.
Yes, and what are we to make of this phrases that has come out of this particular individual head of Hamas, Bassem Naim? How serious are we to take the statements from such a terrorist organization. And also knowing that Palestine or Gazan people don't have anyone in particular who is legally or who is legitimately holding that position to talk on their behalf.
Precisely so. But if you look at the ground reality, you need to understand no matter to which extent Hamas has been debilitated in the aftermath of the Gaza strike, still the larger number of Palestinians in Gaza still continue to support Hamas at unprecedented level. But there has been a certain alternatives such as organizing certain groups within the territory of Hamas to counter Hamas activities within Gaza, but which has not been completely successful so far. So when you ask the question about the statement made by this particular individual from Hamas, it becomes quite obvious that with their completely vulnerable situation, they're willing to step back and go for a peace process as it was initiated by the American counterparts. So in that context, it's a very much optimistic in a way to see that there is a sign of a peace, there is a sign of a negotiation coming from one of the most ruthless terrorist organizations in our time.
Yes, indeed. With that, I would like to thank Dr. Pansara Amarasinghe for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you. Now we stay on the region. Israeli Prime